Hello and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite.
And the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous.
And the fantastic
community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from a current Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads.
A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 421 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix to Fire, Chief Archivist of Lave Radio, otherwise known as Colin Ford. And joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode is the ever-faithful Head of Health and Safety, Commander Ed Levice, otherwise known as Ben Muss Woodward.
We need more alpaca in there.
In addition to that, we have our SRV Banksy and weather measurer. That's the Commander Alec Turner.
Hello. Where did this weather measurer thing come from?
Basically, you were demonstrating to the world the amount of snow it takes to make London grind to a halt.
Ah, right. Gotcha. I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To which anybody north of Stafford just went,
Yeah, we had a wee bit of snow up north.
Just a wee bit of snow, yes. Now, for those of you who might be quite observant, we don't have a Commander Psychic with us this week. She's off with a COVID. They've managed to avoid COVID all this time, and she's off with the COVID. So hopefully get well soon, Commander Psychic. We'll hopefully have you back on soon enough. So to make up for the lack of a Commander Psychic, we do have a brother Sabathius.
Call him Sab, it's easier, Colin.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. And welcome along to Lave Radio. This is your first time here, isn't it?
It did, yeah. First time on. So, it's thank you for having me. It's going to be fun.
Excellent.
Can I ask Sab one very obvious first question? Are you a real brother? Are you a monk? Or are you in any way religious, etc.?
Right. No, I'm
for
not.
those of us who may or may not know.
No. The very, very brief origin story is that Brother Sabathius comes from Warhammer 40k, coming from an NPC chatter line from a PlayStation 1 game of Space Hulk, because one of the characters there was called Sabathius. So when I was on the way back from Distant Worlds, and I was joining an in-game faction that was they were like a theocracy, so religious RP kind of group. We worshipped the Void. So I was thinking of a commander name for it, and I thought, oh, Brother Sabathius, yeah, that sounds about right. That's a good sounding name for a religious group. So that's how Brother Sabathius was born.
Yeah, because we do have a genuine priest who does streaming on Elite Dangerous, and I can't remember what his name is.
Father Bill.
That would be Father
Bill. Yes.
Yeah.
Father.
There are several genuine religious types in the Elite Dangerous community, as there are several of every type in the Elite Dangerous community. And of course, we welcome and love them all.
Indeed.
Yes. And there was me thinking he was just doing a Neo impersonation, but it just turns out to be the uniform. So, yeah, because Father Bill always streams in VR, you see, so you had the full headset on, and with that get up, you were there thinking, "Yep, okay." Wrong way to jump. Anyway, so if you wish, you can join us live. Where are we hanging out in Ben game? In game Ben, even.
I'm actually currently winging my way from Thargoidville down to Lavetown.
Yes, yeah, we'll touch on that later, won't we? So if you want to join us, you can grab hold of Ben at Lave. There's bound to be other people.
Let me grab hold of me if you bought me dinner first, and you won't be able to do that at the station bar either because they don't serve a bloody drink still.
Okay, and chill. We've talked about this before. Take a deep breath.
I'm Scottish. I've got a reputation to live up to.
Yes, so if you can't join Ben in-game, you can always join the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat, or you can go straight to twitch.tv/laveradio, or we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on Twitter. For how long? I have no idea. So let's go around the crew, see what they've been up to for the last week or so, because it's been a couple of weeks since I was here. So we'll start with Alec first.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure everyone will be wanting a quick Christmas tree update. So it has now been inside for 5 days, and none of the needles have fallen off yet. So I shall keep people posted from week to week. So far, so good. What else have we been up to? We had our works office Christmas party, which we always do try and do something these days, something interesting as well as drinking and eating. So we went on a guided tour of Tower Bridge, which was absolutely fascinating. Good, highly recommended tourist trip actually, especially if you can get a good guide. I forget the name of ours, but he was really interesting and took us around the engine rooms and all the way up to the top and across the bridge, and yeah, it's good.
Did you manage to raise the bridge though?
We did not. No, we did not. It's, I did. I saw the lever that you pull, but unfortunately,
did you go into the room with the lever?
We had a guided tour of the engine rooms as part of it, which is the old Victorian steam-powered room,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the room with the electronic lever, but it was locked, unfortunately.
Okay.
In game, I have been doing what I think Takoso describes as war voyeurism, mostly.
I know where you're going with this. Go on.
Well, just looking at stuff still. I mean, I have done some scout combat and I've done some rescue missions, but I should say this very quietly because I do love it all. It's brilliant, but I do find it gets a bit repetitive for me after 1 or 2 sessions of each of those. And I prefer going around and looking at things. And my recommendations this week are Cunningham Depot in HIP 25679, which is nicely daylit at the moment and has lots of geodomes that are on fire and looks absolutely spectacular. And really interesting, I never knew this, if you look really closely inside the geodomes, there are actually, what are they called? Drones inside.
Oh?
Yes.
I was hoping you were going to say there were screaming bodies running around on fire.
No, there's drones, and they remind me exactly of little Huey in Silent Running, tending these burning trees. I actually felt quite sorry for the drone.
Oh.
And my other recommendation for the war voyeurists out there is Evans Palace in the inappropriately named War Nuns system.
Not nun war, but war nuns.
War nun. Yep.
Well, they're back to Warhammer again, then, aren't we?
It's one of those big circular surface ports, but it's shut down, so it's sort of interesting to look at.
It's not at war anyway, so that's okay.
All its lights are off, all its landing pads are shut down, it's all covered in caustic damage, and it's quite spectacular.
Slowly melting into the ground.
Yeah, it's good. That's me.
Excellent. Okay then, Ben. What have you been up to?
real life, my daughter's poorly, so I've been looking after her a wee bitty and things like that. Work-wise, no one really gives a shit about. Apart from my boss, and he doesn't listen to the show, so that doesn't matter. At least as far as I'm aware, he doesn't listen to the show, so that hopefully doesn't matter.
I found out my ex-boss lived to listen to this show, and I was very, very glad I never said anything unprofessional.
Yes. In-game, I've been doing a combination of the war porn like Alec and
war porn. Oh, lovely. Okay.
Basically rescuing the innocent from burning bases. Because as everyone knows, I do have an opinion in the who shot first side of this, and I am a human, believe it or not, and I will support humanity in these things, but I don't really want to. My character doesn't really want to do more to provoke the situation than is necessary. I think that's the right way to say it.
And as we were discussing last night, Ben, I think you and us as Pebbles it's too late for us to vote.
Well, yeah, it might be too late for us to vote, but
in this
I still don't
avalanche of.
Yeah, I still don't have to actively go around going against Cyclops and so on.
Does that make Alec the Bendover of war porn? Why is Bendover some kind of war correspondent?
Bendover and his missus. I'm not quick enough to think of her. Right, we need the writers of Dockers.
Yeah, we need something to put that back. Okay, Sabathius, welcome to Lave Radio. People who don't know who you are or what you do, give them a brief introduction to your good self.
Well, I began streaming Elite about three and a half years ago. Basically, with Distant Worlds 2, I decided I would stream the trip and see if anybody wanted to watch. 3.5 years later,
yeah,
and we were now made Twitch partner and Elite partner, and things have gone way beyond what I ever expected it to ever become. So here I am, and I'm gonna try to make the best of it. Otherwise, I've played the game since it released in 2014. I've done a bit of everything. I don't like to focus too much on one thing at any one time, so I don't get bored with it. But my two favorite things at the moment are Thargoid combat and the Thargoid War history in general, and the ground gameplay that I've been really enjoying.
Excellent. And I've just looked up on my list of people who I follow, and I do follow you, actually. And I never realized that I followed you on Twitch. I was there thinking, oh, hang on, the name sounds familiar. But there we go. Right. And you've been streaming much. I take it you've been fully involved in the various battles that have been happening this week.
Oh yes, there's been much fighting to be had, but I've also been doing some of the humanitarian missions, so shipping out plenty of escape pods and bringing supplies, testing out ship builds for that, seeing what I can get away with. I discovered I couldn't quite get away with the Type 9. It was very tankily built for a Type 9, but a Basilisk was too much. And it died horribly on the way back in to bring some supplies in. So due to a hyperdiction. So it needs to be a bit stronger, and I need to change my tactics to try and get away from that if I'm going to use the Type 9. Python's good though.
Excellent. Right. Well, I think Let's just quickly touch on what I've been up to. Obviously, last week I couldn't take part in the show because I was stuck on a train from Edinburgh to Manchester for far too long and was absolutely knackered by the time I get back. And I'm also I'm also quite knackered tonight because I made what I do every day is I cycle into Manchester and back from where I am. And it's an 8-mile trip into Manchester and 8 miles back. And let me just say that if you forget your keys to the office and you're the only one in the office, you got no choice but to cycle back, pick up the keys, and then cycle back into work again. So I'm a little knackered after doing 32 miles in one day.
Oh dear.
I know. I'm surprised that I was actually able to do it. And as far as
Colin, I'm surprised you were as mental enough to do it. What any sane person would have done would be like, "Oh, bollocks," gone back home and then stayed there.
Yeah, there was a slight problem that there was something I needed in the office at the time.
No.
Yes. So that's the most I have ever cycled in one day, 32 miles. That's my new record. And I feel like I got legs of jelly at the moment. As far as in games concerned, I have been basically taking out bugs left, right, and centre, and
you murderer!
Yes, and rescuing people, and also doing a top shift, which is out now if you want to watch it. And on top of that, yeah. Oh, and we even tried some multi-crewing against the bugs last night, Ben, and it didn't go well. So far, I think my total at the moment is I've lost the equivalent of 20 million credits in rebuys, and I think I've earned back about 6 million, so I'm 14 million down. But to be honest, I don't care. Enjoying it far too much. I've got 2 billion in the bank. I've got enough rebuys. So let us move on from there onto the development news. And what have the devs said this week? Well, tons of stuff. So there was one thing that happened on the Wednesday after we finished recording our show, which was the announcement for Bruce. Now we're going to actually discuss that in detail later on in the show, but you can guarantee it was a bit of a biggie. So hold your horses on that one. We'll talk about that later. But then, of course, there was also Elite Dangerous Update 14.01, which came out on the Thursday, or on the 7th of December, rather. And yes, it had lots and lots of little fixes, and then they highlighted a few fixes which, well, let's be honest, we were a bit surprised that there were some ongoing issues that needed to be looked at. And yeah, it's... there was the bug about the conflict zones not progressing. There's quite a lot of those. A lot of people were complaining about that. And some other states not progressing either. I don't know how much of an issue these bugs actually are, considering what's happened this week. Has anybody noticed any difference in performance or something with, or things like that with update 14.01?
I have noticed that it's generally a little bit smoother on some of the ground bases,
Right.
and in some of the so it seems to have been a bit of an improvement again in game performance, which was nice.
Yeah, it's interesting actually because I think we commented on this last week that I think since the arrival of the Maelstroms, a lot of people actually haven't really been doing on-foot combat. So although people are sort of talking about performance improvements from update 14, and I think I saw some, we're not really testing it by going to the ground bases. I think in a lot of cases.
No, but you can certainly test it when you go to a ground base which is under attack by the Thargoids. Because the frame rate certainly, I've noticed a slight drop, not a huge amount, but there is an awful lot going on there.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
quite interesting when you go down to one of those. I went down and dismissed the ship, so I was there with just me and an SRV, and then a Medusa arrived and hovered over the base,
That must have been
waiting for me, and then another one arrived.
Oh, 2 Medusas. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so they're just waiting. We're just sitting there waiting for me to leave or to try and leave. I got away with half a ship at least. So, but that was kind of intimidating having these things hovering overhead.
Yeah, that was. Oh, I would love to have seen that on foot because, yeah, these huge ships and there's you as a little tiny dot on a little tiny dot.
It's great. They usually turn up after a while, even at the abandoned bases actually. And if you're in the SRV, you're pretty safe. The scouts will spot you if you particularly if you shoot at them, but generally you're pretty safe in the SRV to just take a look.
Yeah, I mean, I was like I said, I did a top shift, and that was one of the things that I did was land at an abandoned Odyssey settlement just to see what was there. And of course, you only get about 2 or 3 minutes, and then the scouts all come in. I didn't know that at the time. I do now. Yeah, there's been a couple of balancing things which have appeared. Obviously, they overcooked the exobiology rank with 14.0, so they've put in an adjustment. So what's happened here is your exobiology data now earns you a lot more money. However, that also means that they've actually moved the rank marking, the rank achievement markings to reflect that. And well, they don't want to take away your exobiology rankings, so the chances are you've been downgraded. Well, if you manage to achieve a rank, you've probably been downgraded to 0, and that number will only start going up again once you've hit the new ranking for that rank, if you see what I mean, the new achievement for that rank. So I got a bit of a shock that my all my exobiology data, when I cashed it in, basically did nothing to my rank at all, even though it should have shot it up a huge amount. So, did
you miss the original Gold Rush then? Did you hand it in after this patch?
Well, I'm on. The commander in question is taxonomist at the moment, and I think she was something along the lines of 65% towards the next level, and I logged in, and she's now taxonomist 0%. So I've now got to earn enough credits to get back up to the new taxonomist ranking before I start seeing that bar go up again. That's going to be interesting. So yes, that's what they've done for that. Apparently, you've not lost any money. You've not actually lost any progress. It's just that until you achieve the new ranking, you won't see any progress. Which,
I mean, frankly, that's about as fair as I think they could do, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they cocked up. We'll all pretend we're surprised.
Yeah.
But then they've rectified it in as honourable a way possible.
Yeah. Other little things to take on note is that you'll now correctly receive data when you're interdicted by Thargoid scouts. The Authoress's shield has been rebalanced, and the payout was too high, apparently. They've downed it to 30 million credits. We were looking for an Authoress last night, but we weren't able to find one, which was a bit of a pain. But yeah, the known issues were highlighted. It shows that mission boards were not loading as intended. Obviously, the AC conflict zones around certain bases were failing to progress. A lot of people have actually highlighted the fact that AX conflict zones don't seem to progress either, just standard ones. So that one all of a sudden has gone to the top of the list as well. There's a carrier management jump issue, and invisible Thargoids at surface settlements.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah. And then there's this one, the phase time countdown counts down weeks instead of days. Yes, that one's been a bit of a funny one. I don't know whether that one's fixed, because I haven't seen that number move yet.
I guess not. It's on the known issues list, isn't it, rather than on the...
Yeah, but there's a couple of these that they can actually fix in the background sim.
Oh, I see. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but the AX conflict zones one, I think that one's probably going to need a client update. And if you don't get the conflict zone, if you don't succeed in the conflict zone, you obviously don't get the credit for it, and that doesn't contribute to the war progress. However, I have been reliably informed just the mere fact that you are shooting Thargoids and killing scouts and interceptors, that does count towards the war progress, regardless of whether or not you complete the conflict zone.
Well, that's something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wondered if that was going to be the case, because I'd seen kind of confirmation in a chat earlier today that the galaxy map does specifically state what helps, and it is just kill Thargoid ships.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, it's so if you kill scouts in a conflict zone, or if you just go into an unidentified signal source, you'll still get the same contribution to the war effort for shooting them. Alec?
Yeah, I haven't actually done a conflict zone. I was just thinking, do you effectively get a sort of triple whammy? So can you, for example, take a mission to kill 16 scouts and then take off and take part in the conflict zone, and so effectively get paid for the mission, get the bounties for the scouts, and get paid for completing the conflict zone?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Neat.
Yes, that is. Oh, go on, Ben.
Yeah, I do feel that the money you get for doing the mission is paltry compared to the amount of money you get for actually just murdering the scouts.
Yeah. It's almost arbitrary whether you...
It's laughable. I saw a mission to kill 55 scouts last week, or earlier in the week, and the reward was 500,000 credits.
Huh. You do get mats, though, to be fair.
You can, yes, that's true. You do. You can get mats for these missions, and
pick the missions wisely.
Yes, they still come under the faction rules, so you can actually still build up your federal or imperial rank by running them. So there's a hint for you. Overall, everybody, what did you think to this minor patch? Start with Ben.
It fixed a bug or two. That's a good thing. Didn't get particularly affected myself by the bugs, but that doesn't mean a lot.
Yep.
It's a bug fix. Yay.
Alec, anything there that you found?
Yeah, it was all right. I suspect the main motivation was to roll out the exobiology rank fix, which I guess probably had to be a client-side fix, and it was just an opportunity to throw in a bunch of bug fixes that were sort of on the done list at the same time, maybe.
Yeah, Sabathius, what do you think?
Yeah, that was it was good. It came along pretty quickly as well. So I think they were clearly very surprised by the effect of the adjustment to exobiology. I don't think they were expecting it to do what it did. So it was good. It came out quickly, and so now everybody knows where they're meant to be, and that they adjusted the war requirement as well around about the same time.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that later. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting little discussion over that. On the 9th, there was the Galnet news roundup, which it's always a laugh to read. Basically, doom, and doom from Paul there, I think. And any highlights from the Galnet update that you like, Ben?
So I think there was one that kind of grabbed me, but nothing. They weren't on par with him the other week. If I remember, I remember reading these ones the other week, and I was like, there was a few there that I was like, yeah, okay, I like that. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's, okay, you've got exciting things like when the going gets tough, the tough get guns. It's like, yeah, he ain't wrong, but it just doesn't ring. It doesn't ring as. I'm sorry, Paul. I love you. You just weren't on form last week.
Yeah, there was actually, I can't remember what the film's called, but it's a Ruger Hauer film, which was basically him being attacked by this absolute alien-like monstrosity, surprisingly enough, on the flooded streets of London. And the thing was, he had a partner, and all of a sudden he'd been attacked by this thing, and he got obsessed about just wanting bigger guns. If anybody can
this
remember,
film was set in the 80s, was it?
it was probably actually set in the 2000s, but made in the 80s.
Yeah.
I can't remember the actual film name now, which is I'm kicking myself because it was so over the top. It was hilarious, but yeah, bigger guns, everybody. Right. So after the Galnet news, we had obviously our Discovery Scanner, which is effectively the catch up from what we're discussing now, and then today. Well, starting on the 13th, which is today, we have the Festive Countdown. Now, the Festive Countdown allows you to, if you log in every day, you will get a surprise from Frontier. Yes. Now, these could be extra ARCs bonuses or anything behind the calendar, because we've got every day until the 24th, I think.
25th.
It is the 25th, is it? All right, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Now, there are a couple of conditions, obviously, that that you need to know about. The Festive Countdown is only available on Live. So, obviously, Live Horizons and Live Odyssey. Well, there isn't a Legacy Odyssey, so I'm afraid Legacy will not get these rewards. Players must log into a game session. In other words, you've got to actually, there's no point just logging into the game. You've actually got to go into a game session in either open, private, or solo. And players who have not logged in previous days, you don't have to log in on previous days to get the current day's award. You can just log in and say day 5, and you'll get day 5's reward, but you won't get day 1, 2, 3, 4's. Just to let you know. Now they did this last year, and yeah, at the end of the time, I was getting last 2 days. I think I was getting 400, 500 arcs a day, which is always useful if you want some decent merch. Anything that they're hoping that they put in there, Ben?
I basically want to whinge because it's over Christmas. I'm with my family. I'm not going to be playing your bloody video game. I'm sorry.
Not even a sneaky one at 11 o'clock at night.
You've only got to log in, haven't you? Log in and straight.
Yeah, but I might be in the minority here, but I'm not going to be in a position to get onto my gaming rig over the Christmas period.
Yes.
So.
Well, that's because you've got your Gunter cave all hidden down in Birmingham away from the family.
Yeah, but I'm not the only person who goes off to mum and dad's or their kids for Christmas and things like that either. I wish they'd done it as a, please come onto the forums and type in the code that we give you into your account panel, and we'll give you the reward for the day.
Huh?
Bless you. Bless you, Colin.
There you go.
Colin's been hyper-addicted.
It did sound like it. We have got a recording of that. I bet we could turn that into a hyperdiction recording, couldn't we? So, I think it's lovely that they're giving us 100 credits or 100 arcs rather, or 400 arcs or whatever. Yeah, that's great. I just wish that we had the ability to log on, to go onto the forums and make a note of the code of the day, rather than having to actually go onto our gaming rigs and try to play for, even if it's just 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to log in on 3 different accounts in order to get all 3 for my...
That's actually, 3 more than I'll be able to log in on.
Actually, there's 4. I still haven't logged into my console account, which I transferred over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. I'm going to have to try that at some point, see what happens.
DP Cat is wondering if your microphone has now got caustic damage.
I take it people didn't hear the word Steam Deck in the middle of that sneeze, but never mind.
Yeah, if you want to buy me a Steam Deck, Colin, I will happily log on and collect my 400 arcs.
I think we need to get a Kickstarter going for that one.
Damn, just try.
If we start a Lave Radio Patreon, then that's what we'll put the money towards.
No, it is not.
Ben can only play Elite at his home. He can't play it on the move. If you want to help Ben, please join our Patreon.
Ironically enough, actually, last year I could do it because last year I was using Shadow.
The Shadow thing.
So but when Shadow basically went off and said, "Hey, you know what? Could you give us 30 quid a month instead of 15 quid a month?" I said, no, I can't.
I can hear Psychic, even through her COVID's restrained voice, going, just shouting right now.
I can read her.
Croaking,
in front of my
croaking loudly. So
yeah, it's a good thing. I just wish that they would implement it via the forums or something that didn't require me to log in.
Oh dear, Alec, will you be taking advantage of this? And is there anything that you're hoping to see?
Well, they've done this before, isn't it? Just arcs every day. You sort of hinted that we wouldn't know what's behind the door, but don't we know exactly what's behind the door? Isn't it 100 arcs, 200 arcs, 300 arcs, 400 arcs?
I thought for some days you actually got ship skins, but it could be.
Okay, maybe I've misremembered it.
Or I'm misremembering it, to be honest.
I can't remember now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's free stuff. You can't really complain. I was going to complain, but I don't want to enrage Psychic anymore, so I'm going to keep my other point to myself.
Psychic should be in bed with some hot soup or something.
Commander Mac Winston is telling me off. It's arcs. It's always arcs. It's never ship skins. You should know better.
And that's the good thing, is the fact it's arcs and you can spend it on whatever you damn well please, rather than having to go and buy. Well, rather than being forced to have a Christmas jumper or something.
Yeah. Well, there was the Winking Cat stuff last year as well.
Yes, that was awesome.
Which was the flat cannons that just did no damage but did very pretty explosions. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, if you want arcs, you want Frontiers Advent Calendar, and if you want surprises, then what you need is Beetlejuice's Advent Calendar.
Yes, agreed.
Yes, that is something that we forgot to add in the show notes, and I think, for those of you who enjoy the artwork of the one Commander Beetlejuice, you can go onto her YouTube channel and see her Advent Calendar of the day until Christmas. So we will send up. I will actually personally put a link in the show notes for our YouTube channels, just for everybody to go and go, oh, isn't she talented? Wish I could draw like that. Yes. Anyway, draw, paint, chalk, use charcoal in very weird ways.
In all ways.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on from there, the in-game events. What has been happening this week? Well, again, lots. On we'll touch on Galnet news first, because on the 8th of December, they said carnage wrought by further maelstroms. So basically, this is when the other 3 maelstroms arrived. And basically, there was a lot more violence and destruction all over the place on the bubble. Yes, it's had a knock-on effect in some ways, which we'll touch on later. And then on the 13th, there was the Darkest Days, where Galnet explained various media outlets' reaction to what happened with the Kingfisher, and where one of the aforementioned press outlet releases said that we had noticed that there were Thargoid probes on board. We hope that it was just an idiot who thought it would be an interesting idea to take Thargoid probes with them to help communicate, without him /her knowing that actually any human ship with that kind of Thargoid technology is almost immediately attacked. I thought that was well-known information by now, but, never underestimate the... T?
Whoopsie.
Oh, whoopsie. See, the thing is, I didn't get your full audio. All I got was the E, the T at the end, you see. I was there going, what?
T.
Yeah. Alec.
Yeah, what I like about this story, actually, is I didn't go there myself, but I believe people found, when they went to the wreck, they found Thargoid probes, didn't they, when they hacked open the escape hatches and things?
Yes, they did.
Cargo hatches. What I really like is, Arthur made a comment months ago now, I guess, about, nothing is there for no reason, nothing's, and I really like that this is a nice example of sort of reinforcing that yes, those Thargoid probes were meant to be there, and they're part of the story, and it's nice. It's good confirmation.
Yeah, so that was the Darkest Day, and that's all the Galnet news that we've had. However, we've had plenty of other news to keep us going. Obviously, the CG for the turreted enhanced AX cannons, that was completed a couple of weeks ago, and they were made available to the rescue ships. The CG for the turreted enhanced AX missile racks has now been completed, and that will be available soon. We've yet to hear. Now, have anybody had a chance to use the enhanced AX multi-cannons?
I have, yeah.
Same here. So, how are you finding them, brother?
They were much more effective. Even if the damage number hasn't gone up much, the shot speed is so much higher that you hit more bullets. So you do way more damage than they would do within the original versions. So yeah, they're actually a very good upgrade, even if the damage number hasn't moved much.
No, I think as the MMO people say, it's improved DPS.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I've been using them all weekend, and they're a vast improvement I've found over the original AX turrets, which I have actually liked having. But these things have got to give you more daka to the minute.
They sound great as well, don't they?
Oh yeah, they actually sound. It always reminds me of the gun sounds when you're flying a Viper in Battlestar Galactica. That's what it sounds to me.
Yeah.
And and you do get that Battlestar Galactica vibe when you're flying around a station defending it from Thargoids. It's what I've wanted in the Thargoid combat for ages, so I'm quite happy. In other news, HIP 23716 has been successfully defended. Yes. Last night we hit. I am so scared to say anything about a purple bar and growth. You know what I mean? I do not want to mention that at all, but I know what's coming. Literally, effectively, that purple bar went all the way to the end, and Write your own jokes.
Come on, Colin, get
write
out.
your own. And yes, we were completely and utterly successful in repelling the Thargoids. That's obviously the second week which we've attempted that, and yeah, it will go into post-Thargoid recovery for next week. Now, according to Inara, the two top pilots who involved in this was Commander Enosh Curran, who, although he only had 13 scout kills and 4 interceptor kills, managed to rescue, get ready for this, 17,826 people.
That's impressive.
Mm. Yeah,
that's a big number.
That is a massive number. And then you compare it to Commander Raffalo, who got 830 scout kills, 52 interceptor kills, and still had time to rescue 8,419 people.
The unbalance, I would say, is more impressive.
I know the fact 52 interceptor kills. I can't get one, not by myself.
Yeah, I haven't tried. Yeah, those are good numbers, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're an acquired taste, shall we say?
Yeah. The total Inara stats. So obviously this is just the commanders who have logged into Inara. It's not the whole total, which would probably give us a better idea of how much is needed to kick the Thargoids out of a system. But there have been 27,255 Thargoid kills this week. 215,962 rescues, and 52,364 tons of supplies delivered into the system. That is a phenomenal amount, if I can even say phenomenal. And then on top of that, the AXI have said that their next the current target is system HIP 20485. Now that's an alert. So it's up to commanders to stop the authoruses there. Authori? Is that a plural? Sabathius.
Yeah, on 20485. We got news not very long ago that has now succeeded.
Oh right, so that goes back.
So we have 2 successes this week.
Excellent. Which that's great.
Obvious question: how many failures?
Oh, I've got stats on that later, Ben. Don't worry. So we'll just come back to that. So that's 1 alert system saved and 1 invasion system saved so far.
So the alert system, that just goes back to being completely normal, presumably.
It does.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If it's an alert system, it goes back to normal. If it's controlled or invasion, it goes to post-Thargoid recovery, which is something we haven't seen yet. So there might be more gameplay assigned to that.
I think that's something that we found was interesting last night, wasn't it, Colin? That a system where it's in alert status, you still can't disembark.
Yeah, that was interesting because I wanted to disembark it in the invasion system, just to walk around and see what was happening in the bar and see if they've done anything. But they haven't done anything because you can't obviously get out your ship.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sorry. Could you imagine if you could go to the places that are in alert, and it's like that scene on Babylon 4 where they're trying to evacuate the station?
Yeah, I got a sneaking suspicion that would have been too much work for very little reward, to be honest.
It probably would have been, but my God, that'd have been amazing.
Oh, it would be. It'd be great for the immersion, Ben. It'd be great for the immersion. Alec?
Yeah, it's slightly off topic, but now's as good a time as any to raise it. You just reminded me of something. So we have these stations that are in total shutdown, the ones with the cross through them, so there's no landing pads. What happens if that was the station where you last left your ship, and then you log back in to find that you're locked inside. Like particularly, I was thinking, you know, the Coriolis where the doors shut on the front. What happens if that's where your ship is?
Apparently, your ship is transferred to the nearest place which is available.
Okay, boring. I
Sorry.
was just thinking how awesome when you'd be this pitch black station and you put your lights on and the door's shut and you're just clanging around inside a Coriolis. It'd be awesome.
So basically what you're saying is that you would want players to be completely trapped if they were in the
Yes.
Thargoid control system. And
It'd be
out of the game
Let
and
me out.
completely and utterly unable to play.
I know what I would like, and I know it's never going to happen. Could you imagine if we could go? Okay, you wake up and you're there, and you've been left on the station because you didn't get out in time or whatever. But then you could go off and do an EVA, crank open the hatch, and then fly out. That's what I would like.
You just want to use the Lave radio second technician's wrench to slowly prise open the hatch, or do one of those wrenching maneuvers on a screw nut at the far corner to open the thing manually, and then run back
I was
to your
more
ship.
thinking panel is cut, panel is down, but I'll accept some wrench action too.
Can you imagine getting out the arc cutter and going around the entire mail slot?
Oh, wow.
So cool!
And 2 hours later, and how many power packs, guys?
Oh boy.
Yeah, just
Someone would
imagine.
do it.
Oh, someone would do it.
Oh, yeah. That's the kind of gameplay I would do.
That's a very Ascorbius thing to do, I think. It's the kind of thing that would do. Just to let everybody know, there are 2 current outstanding CGs. One for the development of the enhanced fixed AX multi-cannon, and the other one is the development of the enhanced fixed AX missile rack, which is the one I'm interested in, because my multi-cannons are good, thank you very much, and I just need better missiles.
Right.
Bigger
So
guns.
have we got the gimbaled ones yet?
Oh, no, there never were gimbaled ones. It was either fixed or it was turreted. You never got gimbaled.
Do you think you'll get gimbaled ones?
They seem to be on the cards because they were mentioning Galnet, so I think one of the upcoming short CGs will be gimbaled ones.
It'll be interesting to see because they've never actually done gimbaled weapons, any new gimbaled weapons for quite a while. When you think about it, all the Guardian weapons were either fixed or turreted, and same with the AX weapons when they first came out. And incidentally, the Guardian turret weapons, they can only work in multi-crew, which is, yeah.
That was interesting last night as well, wasn't it, Colin?
Yeah, we tried to get Ben to take the role of the gunner to use those aforementioned turrets, and Ben couldn't work out the interface. Which is true.
It's weird. And then we found out that because I was in that role, even though I hadn't selected that role and gone into it, you couldn't.
Yeah, I couldn't
do your
actually.
heat shields and things.
Yeah, I couldn't. We got hit by a couple of caustic missiles, and I could see the hull going down, but I couldn't get hold of the decon limpets. For some reason, they were disabled because Ben was the crewman, and boom, and another 5 million credits. Thank you very much. So the whole war stats so far, we've got 15 systems in alert. Well, it's 14 now. We have 40 systems in invasion. We have 108 systems which are lost. We have 5 maelstroms, and is it 8 rescue ships?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could go and count them.
There's only one we all get sent to, but there's 7 more apparently.
Yeah, I noticed that. It just seemed that, okay, there's a rescue ship 100 light years away. That doesn't seem too hard. Why are they sending me to the one which is 200 light years away?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm counting 10.
Oh, 10. Oh, that's interesting because we've got 10 fingers and the Thargoids have only got 8 petals.
1, 2, 3, yeah. 4.
And welcome to the Ben version of Sesame Street.
1, ha ha ha. Yeah, you got You got Tarktor, Upsilon Aquiri, Altair, Ross 112, Ellie. I don't know where that one is. It's not actually coming up. Anti maybe Canvas. Either Arubia or NEX, something like that. Yeah, I think there's 10 there.
Excellent. Now, forgive me for saying this because they touched on this in the live stream. These ships here are our equivalent of the Maelstroms, because the Thargoids are going to try and take them out because they're like the kings on a chessboard. Once you've taken it out, it causes a whole load of knock-on effects. And once they're lost. So,
yeah, there was a hint, wasn't there, that we'd have to defend these rescue ships.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll have more luck with them than we do with the Kingfisher.
We didn't have any chance with the Kingfisher. That's the problem.
Well,
Kingfisher was stuffed to the gills with Thargoid probes. So.
And what are these stuffed with?
Tasty humans, soft on the inside, crunchy on the outside.
Nom nom nom.
Excellent. Right, let's have a look. Oh, last week we had a competition for these wonderful purple ship skins that Frontier gave us. We have, how many packs, Ben? Is it 10?
We've got about 10, yeah.
Yeah, we've got about 10. And so we put a competition, a spot the difference competition, where you had to spot 9 differences between...
Ignore it, it's fine.
So basically, spot 8, but there were 9.
Yes. So what we've gone and done is we've said anybody who spotted 8 or more wins. Yes, so we'd like to congratulate Commander Iron Ass, Commander Kremen, Commander Time, Commander Blade Runner UK, Ray Higgins. You guys have all got have won prizes. If anybody else wants to try, we still have prizes available.
Can I go and do something, Colin?
Certainly.
Okay, the first person in Twitch who wants a pack, say something. Say bananas now, in chat, and I will send you a chat a thing.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, of course, there's a delay. There's a delay, isn't there?
Okay, congratulations. There we go. Boswell's got one. Congratulations, Boswell. I will send that to you.
I think we should also send one to Zero Arcana just for being a dick.
You know what? I approve of that. So congratulations, Boswell and Zero Arcana. I will send you both one.
Yeah.
Let me just go and make a note of that.
Yeah. We will point out they are for 4.0 or live servers only. So now everybody's just putting in bizarre things in there.
Too late! Zero Arcana was original, you're copying.
Aardvarks. Yes, well, okay, fair enough. And no one's gone for the obvious. You know.
I know, I've not seen any alpacas yet.
Yeah, I know. There you go. Right. I think it's that time of the week again.
Store alert! In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art.
Wake up, Norman! Yeah, the mic's alive now.
And that's what happened. Oh,
really?
Norman's too busy playing World of Warcraft.
And that's where Rexler is it? Okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay, I'll head out there now. Anyway, yeah, skins. The store alert. Well, everything is back from the previous year. So we've got the gold end skins, not the gold skins. We have the chromed skins, not the chrome skins. And I'm going to do this joke again anyway. Hopefully there'll be the Cobra Mark 4 Red instead of the Cobra Mark 4. Sorry.
Skins.
Skin. Yes. So yes, these are old favourites from previous years, where you can have your lovely golden asp or tungsten asp, or sorry, chromed asp fly about the galaxy. They are amongst my favourite, and yeah, I normally get those if I hadn't already got them all. But in addition to that, there are plenty of festive cockpit decorations, which make a return from last year, as are the festive skins. You know, the ones where your ships can be covered in snow and other Christmassy-like decorations. And the ever-popular Snowman, Elf and Christmas jumper packs, which are back for your on-foot commander. Nothing says warm, wonderful Christmas when you have been shot in the face by someone wearing a snowman outfit running around a conflict zone. So we'll have plenty of things to buy with your free arcs that you get from the gift shop. It's a daft question, this, but is anybody else going to be getting these if you haven't got them already?
Oh, I secretly want them to have a gold scorpion skin, because it will look like one of those ridiculously ostentatious gold Humvees or something that parked outside Harrods. You know.
Yeah, I might have to get a Christmas jumper. I don't think I own a Christmas jumper.
If I had a Christmas jumper, I wanted to say Bah Humbug.
I once wanted to put my name badge at work as Bah Humbug, but it wouldn't let me.
Oh.
Yeah, people are making requests for really fleet carrier skins, snow-covered fleet carrier skins from Elvis Grimm in there. I know what you mean about the gold-plated, ridiculous cars, because we, surprisingly enough, when we were at Monaco this year, outside the main hotel, there was a gold-plated Senna.
Oh no!
I know. The thing about Senna is it's got to be in red, and I think putting in any other color, even if it's gold-plated, is just a crime.
You know what you want, Colin? You want a gold-plated Skoda or something.
Gold-plated Adder. I think that's the only ship skin I don't have that's in gold or chromed. So yeah, we'll gloss over that one and move on, I think. Yes. So I think we'll go and take a break for some adverts, and then we'll come back with our main discussion of this week.
This is Lave Radio.
Waiting for things to load. Waiting for things to load. Sitting in your chair, waiting for things to load. Waiting for the manifest to update. Playing old space games. Waiting for things to load. You just want to get out there and explore space. See the galaxy. Blaze your own trail. But you're in your chair, waiting for things to load. Wait no longer, Commander! Automated cargo drones will load cargo into your ship in no time. Automated cargo drones, available now in most starports. We all know what it's like. You're busy managing your settlement when suddenly the alarms go off.
Oh no, not again.
That's right. A commander with a Federation naval rank of Admiral, an Imperial King no less, has landed in a ship worth over 100 million credits and is killing all your staff, while they look around for a 10 credit adhesive to glue an upgraded scope to their 100,000 credit assault rifle. They fly away with their super glue and you're left with a problem. How are you going to get your agricultural plant back up and running?
How am I going to get my plant up and running?
How are you going to find staff at short notice?
How am I going to find staff at short notice?
How are you going to deal with all those bodies?
There's bodies everywhere, and they've stained the carpet.
Wonder no longer. Call Aries Crime Scene Cleanup Services.
Hello, I'm Harry, from Harry's Mine. After a sudden increase in robberies and murders by commanders since 3307, I've gained valuable expertise in cleaning up bodies, recruiting new staff and restocking stationary lockers. Now you can benefit from my experience by signing up to our Crime Scene Cleanup Service subscription plan.
That's right. For only a small monthly fee, when your settlement alarms are activated, our rapid response cleanup crew will be dispatched, along with our patented Cadaver Scoop 150. The Cadaver Scoop 150 can be mounted to surface reconnaissance vehicles and skimmers to make tidying up your settlement a breeze.
Wow, the bodies are gone.
Our recruitment team has potential new employees on standby across the galaxy, ready to fill your vacant roles in security, logistics, administration, processing, and more.
My plant's operational again. Thanks, Aries Crime Scenes Cleanup Services.
Aries Crime Scene Cleanup Services. We'll have your settlement as good as new before the next ship arrives. Cadaver Scoop 150 disposal bags sold separately.
Lave Radio, broadcasting to every corner of the galaxy.
Have you found yourself in a spot of bother with those Xenos messing up your backyard?
Oh, why are there Thargoids in my system?
Can't leave the house without fear of a hyperdiction?
Can't even get to work. Not that they've noticed, because everything's on fire there too.
Sick of the amount of time it takes to scrub the caustic damage from those hard-to-reach places?
Oh, fuck! Oh, it fucking hurts! Ow.
Introducing Dr. Pope's Caustic Burn Cream. Apply a few drops to the affected area and feel the euphoria of instant relief. After that, just wash the burn away.
It's like it was meant to happen.
It's so good, you can even use it on your ships.
Thanks, Dr. Pope. My ship smells brand new.
Dr. Pope's Caustic Burn Cream, the miracle that can happen. Side effects may include dizziness, constipation, an itching sensation, worship of an obviously aggressive false deity, death, and loss of sense of smell. Should you experience any of these symptoms, please contact your doctor immediately. Not Dr. Pope though, he's busy.
and welcome back. Yes, and just remember, is he a real doctor? We don't know. Yeah, I like that. Alec Turner. Warning, do not apply to genitals and balls.
Does anyone remember the Amazon reviews for Veet?
Yeah. Oh, yes. God. Yes, yeah. Oh, Jesus, yes. Yes.
Anyway, I was reminded of that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's enough to make you...
I was thinking of those sugar-free jelly bears or whatever they were.
What? You try to use them, you won't have much success.
Not for that, but there was reviews for something along those lines as well, which were equally hilarious.
I think the other one was the wolf howling at a moon T-shirt, where it all of a sudden it became basically the best way to chat up women without magnapants.
I remember that one. It took on a life of its own. That
it did, and I've still got mine anyway. So let's have a look at our main discussion this week. Obviously, there was something that was raised as part of update 1401, which was a clarification by Bruce earlier in the week, where let's just say the previous week didn't go very well for humanity. In the system that we were working on, which HIP, what's it, 23? I can't even remember the one it was now. We've saved it. It's out of the mind. We weren't doing very well. In fact, by the end of the week, it would only reached 40%, and everybody was getting very, very tired. And then Bruce put this clarification out, saying that this clarification is to explain how this works. If you don't manage to achieve, if you look at the time, well, first of all, if you look at the timer, that's how long the system's got before it goes to the next Thargoid stage. So we looked at that, and it had about 7 weeks before it went to from Thargoid invasion to Thargoid control. And then what happened was that obviously the first week passed, and we only hit 40%, and everyone was expecting that 40% to stay as it was. However, the clarification said no, if you don't complete it by the server tick on Thursday, that's it. It resets to 0 and you've got to start again. Now, as soon as that was released, everybody went a bit mental on the forums. And not just the forums either. There was Polygon articles and stuff on Massively OP, all about how this has just gone and ruined everything. Now, obviously, this week they've gone and changed what seems to be the target, and there's a little sliver of information in the Galnet on the 8th, explaining that now that there are more maelstroms, it means that the Thargoids have got to spread their forces out more to cover them. And so that means each individual system will become slightly easier. And that's why we managed to kick the Thargoids out this week. I'm just going to go around the crew and see what they think to the reaction that's been happening this week, and we'll start with our guest today. What do you think of this mechanic about the end of the week being reset?
Well, having had a time to have a good think about it, they have what they've done here is they've hooked the war into essentially the BGS power play, which has a weekly reset cycle.
Yes.
So this might be a mechanic they have to follow. They have to do a weekly reset on it. So they may not. It might be a technical thing. However, it probably would have been a good idea to tell people that that's what was going to happen in the beginning, so that then people know what they're playing. So it's like it would be like playing a game of Monopoly where you've got a house rule that every time you pass go, you've got to pay the bank £200 instead of them giving you £200. But you only get told that rule when you get round to go. So, and you've already spent your £200. So, I think if they explained that would happen in the beginning to make sure everybody knew, it would have led to less surprise.
Yeah.
But I think it might be a way that it has to be done because it's linked into BGS.
So it's you think it's to do with this? Well, the clearing out and the server tick. Yeah.
Because you've got the weekly maintenance every Thursday, which is effectively a weekly reset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alec, what's your opinion of what's happened?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? There's two parts to it, actually. Two very clear parts to it. There's the difficulty level, which I basically said exactly this on last week's show. There was no way Frontier were going to get the figures right off the bat. We've not done anything like this in the game before. We've done similar things for CGs and stuff, but not all out war. So they had to pick a number out of thin air for the algorithms to decide how well we were going to do. They were never going to get it right. And so in a sense, they did what they usually do, which is to go very high and then start to wind it down. And I that obviously contributed to the outcry, because we weren't, we were really struggling and not really getting anywhere. The reset, I just know. I mean, you don't really do that. You don't take a week's hard effort and just throw it away. Not so blatantly. I mean, what I would do, at the very least, is instead of resetting it to 0, reset it to 25% of what you achieved, so that the perception is that your effort wasn't for nothing. Because
you do that in Power Play. In Power Play, every week your number of tokens that you have earned from the previous week is halved, and
brilliant. There you go.
And then halved again, and effectively it means that if you've got up to level 3, you've only got half as much effort to do to maintain it. It's actually trying to get up the ranks where you really are grinding the Postman Pat simulator in order to move up to, say, a level 4, and with a level 5 it's absolutely ridiculous if you're just doing deliveries. But I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just think throwing it all away, particularly, I mean, the way it was phrased. I mean, I quite like it when Bruce does this sometimes, but sometimes he can be very plain in his words. Somebody asks a question and just goes, "No, it's reset." What, really? Yes, back to 0. It's really blunt. And I think with the whole thing with players were already struggling because the numbers were set too high, unsurprisingly set too high, to then just have them come out and go, no, we've thrown all your effort away. Yeah, it did cause an absolute stink, didn't it?
It did. Ben? Oh no, your second point actually for.
Well, that was it. I was just, my 2 points were, the difficulty level, which was unsurprisingly too high, and they're now tuning it down, and I'm absolutely fine with that. But the reset, no.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you on that one. Ben, what's your opinion?
I just want to ask you guys a question, I guess, more than having an opinion.
Okay.
Is if you're doing the BGS, or if you're not actually actively trying to get up a rank in Postman Pat Simulator, but actually you're trying to actually play that game properly and manipulate the galaxy in Power Play, what happens to your previous weeks of effort then? Because I thought, if you fail to take a station, don't you fail to take the station and you're back to stage 0? You're back to square 1 again, and you've got to go off and try and take the station next week instead.
That's effectively how it works.
Yeah.
And in Power Play, if you're trying to take over a system, then it's basically you've got to get over a certain amount, and also any team that's opposing you've got to get over their amount as well.
Right, so, and if you fail, or if one of you fails, then I'm assuming.
Yeah, if
you're back to square 0 again.
Yeah, in Power Play, if the aggressor fails, they're back to 0, and the next week you might have a completely different target, depending on what the rest of the Power Play community has chosen to attack.
So I can understand why, let's say, sake of argument, groups like Operation Ida who are used to, we've got to fill these buckets kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an ongoing effort.
Yes.
I can understand why they got confused by all of a sudden switching to this BGS mechanic, essentially. But people who are used to doing BGS things, I'm maybe less surprised that they got so upset about this.
Yeah.
And what about normal anti-Xeno combat? I mean, I guess in the past it's never really mattered, has it?
No,
it's just, we want to kill bugs because it's fun.
Well, what's happened in the past is as Darren was saying on the stream, he was saying that basically it was very much a hands-on situation where they would actually place or put certain systems into an invasion state, and it was up to there wasn't any spreading around effect, if you like. So if say for it was kept local to that system, so an invasion that would keep on happening each time the more and more stations would get attacked, until basically you could have the entire system on fire, but it wouldn't jump to the next system. It was all still kept pretty much to the one system. In this, it's going to spread out. If we don't, we don't act, then obviously the computer or the AI simulation will then decide, right, okay, all these systems all my alert systems haven't been countermanded. They're mine, and I'll select this next row system to go into alert, and it will keep on growing like that. And it's what the worrying thing about this is that I can see it growing exponentially.
I hope so. Frankly, I've made no. I've not hidden this anywhere. I really, really hope so.
You want to watch the bubble burn.
I kind of do, to be honest.
You basically want the battle of the line in front of Earth, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been watching.
You say this like it's a bad thing.
But it was a bad thing.
Only for the humans who died.
We know if it wasn't for, well, spoiler alert, if it wasn't for one certain commander, that's it. End of human race.
Fine.
And we don't have that certain commander with us in this game. So
you can feel the glow.
So yeah, it's no, Ben is not Valen. Oh God, help us if he is.
You are the one. I'm the one who is taking the piss.
Yeah, Alec.
Yeah,
save us quickly.
I was just going to call out a couple of good comments from chat. Actually, Arkhayam points out, of course, that part of the difference between this Thargoid War thing and general BGS or power play is that there is a fixed time limit. You know, we're told in the Thargoid War information window we've got 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So the natural assumption was that our effort would, count for those 2 weeks and not get reset after 1 week. And I think that's where it hurts. And
I guess it says.
Matt Winston says that BGS does not reset to 0 every week. Your BGS efforts accumulate until you succeed.
On the other side of the equation, fail. Yes.
So,
yeah, I must admit, this weekly reset has set the cat amongst the pigeons. I mean, it's okay for this week because we've actually managed to turn 2 systems this week. Or
they might have got away with it if they hadn't had to start with the numbers being wound at high and then dial them down.
Mm-hmm.
If we'd done well in that first week, if we'd managed to save 4 systems, the fact that there was a reset, I think, might have gone largely unnoticed. Don't you think?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. People would have worked it out, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think the one issue that I know some people have had this issue, and we have been asked by our colleagues over and the other side of the Atlantic, the redneck hillbilly, no, it's a hillbilly redneck radio, otherwise known as Loose Screws. Oh, come on! If you heard of the theme tune to Chig Chat and you tell me it's not hillbilly, yeah,
Totally, they're owning it.
they're owning it. They have. They would have preferred the first week to be actually been really, really easy, and basically, as more Thargoids turn into maelstroms, things then start to ramp up. I mean, how does that feel?
I liked it. I liked that theory a lot because it had two things going for it. I mean, the point was that, if they started easy, which you wouldn't normally do. Normally, because you can't give players things and then take it away, it doesn't go down well. But if they'd started easy, they then had the story to help them wind it down. Basically, the second and third Thargoids could have hit a lot harder, and nicely sort of story away the fact that the numbers need to be made harder. Whereas the situation we're currently in, which is a bit weird, is that as more and more Thargoids arrive, the war effort is actually getting easier, and that's really not the way it should play out. It just feels a bit off. So I think they have a good point in that instance. It's a bit late now, but they maybe should have started easy and then allowed the onslaught of additional Thargoids to wind the numbers up. Hey ho.
Yeah, Ben.
See, I don't agree with Alec there. Yeah, I think it's like I agree with what Frontier. I agree with what has happened and what Frontier has done. We've been basically. I was talking to Trax earlier in the day, and I basically likened the scenario a bit to Poland getting invaded at the start of World War II. They got hit hard. They were running around on horses with sticks, and here comes the German army doing the fecking blitzkrieg. They didn't stand a bloody chance. They didn't know what to do, and they were oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And that's essentially what's happened to humanity. We've been dealing with these Cyclops, and we can deal with the occasional one. All of a sudden, we get a Maelstrom coming in, and we are, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm not surprised we got our ass handed to us, and we should have gotten our ass handed to us. And then later on, we'll get we'll get a bit of ebb and flow as we learn what to do, and Frontier can push their fingers on the buttons to sort of balance things out and so on. But I am completely in favor of us getting our ass handed to us while we were running around like a load of headless chickens going, what's hit us?
Sabathius.
It's going back to the the point about the UI it was a perfectly reasonable read of the UI in game to look at it and say, oh, we've got so many weeks to fill this bar up.
Mm-hmm.
So that that the UI reading the way it does is kind of what made the reaction to the reset even worse, because the impression that the UI gave was not correct. If they'd explained that it was going to reset every week on the day of 14's release, then people wouldn't have been surprised, and they would have known, oh right, we've got a week to do this. So it felt a bit of an issue of the UI giving a false impression of what the rules were.
Yeah, I quite understand that. I mean, the thing is that, as far as the excuse that they've used that more maelstroms may mean it gets easier, that says to me that we have been given that the Thargoids have a set amount of forces that are coming or have already arrived, and those forces were there just defending one Thargoid to start with. which is why it was so difficult. Now that we've got up to 8 coming in, they've then got to obviously protect all of those systems. So that means spreading their forces thinner, and therefore, I mean, when you think about it in that way, then it kind of makes sense. But you were kind of under the impression that each Maelstrom brought its own armada with it, and each armada was the same.
Yeah.
So
that would be my impression. Yeah, you would have more Thargoids coming with each Thargoid, not less. So I read that one as code as we've adjusted the numbers slightly. We went a bit high to begin with. We've adjusted a bit, but I think we're meant to be, story-wise, we are not meant to be winning things in any big number at the moment. We are meant to feel really under pressure. We are going to lose more systems, and that's how it's meant to be. But I think they had in mind that we would at least be able to defend maybe 2 or 3 systems in the beginning. Because we're going to need to get to a point where we can defend 12 or more every week. In order to be able to push back.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the statistics so far, I mean, what is it? It's 40. Even if we could save 2 systems, an alert system and an invasion every week, that still means that we would lose approximately 35 systems a week to invasion, and at least another 8 or 9 systems move to invasion. And
potentially, yeah.
You know, and that's only with these 5 Thargoids. So obviously, there's going to be a lot more systems when the other 3 arrive.
Oh yeah. So it's either we're going to get more number adjustment as the story progresses to represent us gaining capability, as well as having some new tech coming along, whatever it's going to be. And I think at some point we're going to be going into the Maelstroms to do something in there. I think that's kind of the end game. However long that's going to take.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I see it going at the moment. But we're still in the tuning phase a little bit at the minute.
Well, basically we are as Ben put it, we're the Polish cavalry wondering what the heck we're doing at the moment.
But we are meant to feel very under pressure.
Yeah, not to diss on the Polish cavalry, because basically, apparently, they fought with a great deal of valor, and when you look at some of the historical,
but as much, being as respectful as I can be,
respectful,
as much valor as you can be as valorous and as honourable as you like. It ain't going to help you against the Panzer.
No, and I'm afraid that's what happened. And then they had Stalin come in from the backside, which
which again, everyone's going to be upset about that. I think, do we have to contractually say as well, Loose Screw's opinion on the reset?
Yes, go on.
Yes, okay. Yeah. You want me to take that? Do you, Colin?
Yes, I do, because I don't actually have it to hand at the moment.
Okay then. In that case, then, and this is especially for any Frontier staffer who is listening,
for some reason they think that they listen to us.
Yeah.
And you enjoy also, quite a lot of self-pleasure.
Well, they also think that as well, but that's another story.
Yes.
So I did suggest we could tweet. Well, they could tweet it if they wanted, but Trax has summarized his verbose opinion on the reset to the reset is dumb.
That covered.
Yeah, but I just want to, that is the Loose Screws podcast opinion on the resets, not necessarily Lave Radio's.
Yeah, I mean, the way that this reset works out, it means we have approximately 7 chances per system. Of which actually 5 chances now, when you think about the end of this tick, to save as many to save a system. And if you don't manage to save that system in a week, well, sorry, that's it. You're back to zero. I mean, for the mechanics that I can see they've put in with the weekly reset that Brother Sabathius has said, yeah, I can understand why they're doing it this way. But I must admit, I would have preferred it to be a little bit more difficult and not lose the reset. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It surprised me that it turned out to be that way because of the impression that the UI gave.
Yeah.
That I expected. All right, we've got this number of weeks, and we've got to fill the bar up. You know, that was a completely logical reading of how it seemed to work. So I was surprised, as long as there was everybody else, that it turned out to be a complete reset.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll say, excuse me, say one thing that, to be fair, Bruce did turn up later and said, listen, guys, you are going to have to give us a little bit of time. This is the first time that we are running an event like this, and it is a galaxy-wide war. He's unaware of any... Well, I mean, obviously stuff like things like this happen in Eve and stuff like this, but this is the first time that Frontier have ever tried something like this. And they're going to need to learn a couple of lessons. So I can think it was just asking for the community just to calm it down, let us try and balance it. Some of the mechanics, I think we're like as always with Frontier. There's always going to be mechanics where we're going, really? But yeah, I think it was just the I think the main trigger was the fact that the Operation Ida just went, oh, no, that's it, not doing it. That was the big trigger for a lot of people when that announcement went out.
I mean, they have reneged on that, haven't they?
Yeah, since then, Operation Ida said, actually, now that we can see that we're making significant progress, then everybody back in it. And everybody has got back in it. And yeah, it has been an absolute success over the last couple of weeks. The last week especially. Because as you saw, the people realised that it's possible. And people were really surging to it. I saw a lot more communication in the chat window. There were people asking to wing up with me and other people all the time, which I thought was great. When I looked at the Steam charts were now up 20% on what before on update 13. Our player levels on Steam are basically, you'd have to go back to the month after Odyssey was released to get player numbers this high. So it's definitely worked. Alec.
Yeah, I was going to say, it does seem like the majority of players are kind of following the coordinated guidance, because I've been jumping around all sorts of random systems just to look at stuff rather than to get involved. When I do that, I rarely run into other players actually, but when I go to the nominated, these are the top 3 targets, that they're noticeably full. So it does seem like the efforts to coordinate efforts are working really well, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, everybody's just following the anti-Xeno initiative's lead because, well, obviously, if you want to fight Thargoids, then the AXI have got a lot more experience. But
I've never had a strong sense of what proportion of Elite Dangerous players are, like us, in on the Discords and following the forum and following the socials sort of regularly, and what proportion are really sort of largely oblivious to the world of Discord. But it seems from some pretty circumstantial evidence like most people are tuned in actually.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, incidentally, well, one of the reasons we have Brother Sabathius on here is because people would like to know what you would recommend as a good anti-Xeno build. I mean, do you have a build which you would wholeheartedly recommend?
Yeah, my favorite ship for the job is the Alliance Chieftain.
That'll
mainly
keep someone
because
happy.
mainly because I just love the way it flies. For this job, it flies perfectly for this job. It will orbit around an interceptor without needing to keep boosting like a crate would. It gives away a bit of firepower to the crate, but it more than makes up for it in its response to directional thrusters. So I prefer that one. Surprisingly, and it still surprises people even after a couple of years of doing this. People come in and go, "Oh, what? No shields?" And no, indeed, we are often better off without shields when fighting, particularly interceptors.
Oh, so the level 6 shields, the A-rated 6 shields with modifications are useless that I've got.
Not useless. They will work, but it gives you extra things that you need to think about. Anytime the shield takes hits, it will start to recharge. And when it does that, it draws from your system capacitor.
Mhm.
Now, if that is ends up completely drained, now you can't fire a heatsink, or you couldn't use the shutdown neutralizer just when you might need it, because the shield is trying to recharge from that capacitor.
Gotcha.
And if you have to put pips into engines and weapons, that one will drain really, really fast. So that's one reason why we tend not to put a shield on.
Okay.
Other one is that it allows the ship to run a bit cooler, because when you are particularly fighting interceptors, although this works on scouts as well, if you can stay very cold, they can't lock their weapons on you.
That'd be handy.
And if you're moving at the time, you're not sitting still, then they will fire at where you are and not where you're going to be. So they will miss their shot and you don't take damage, but you can still hit them. So, and you can also use tricks like going silent running to quickly become essentially invisible to them, invisible to their targeting. So they know where you are, but they can't hit you.
Yeah, because when you go silent running and you come back, then your shields will be recharging again, won't they?
They ordinarily, the shields would start to try and recharge, yes. So, so my general build for the Chieftain is hull reinforcement, military armor, 3 module reinforcement. The reason we've got 3 is that the resistance to damage stacks up with each one. With 3, you've got 94% module protection.
Okay.
And that works on the canopy as well.
Ah, that's very useful.
That covers the canopy as well. And we have an AFMU. Now, the AFMU is primarily there to repair the module reinforcement. Because you can repair those. As they take damage, you can repair them and get them back to full health again. And maintain your module protection. And then I also have repair limpet and a big cargo bay to store limpets in. With 64 limpets in the cargo bay, I could rebuild the entire hull from 1% multiple times if required. Ideally, if you get the flying right, you don't need to do that. But it's reassuring having a lot more health in that cargo bay that you could draw on if necessary. I do have a build for it. If I can, where do you want to post this one?
If you just give it, I'll put it into the show notes for people. If you have a Coriolis build, and we can also post it in Twitch chat and things as well. Obviously,
right. I've posted that there. I'll pop it in Twitch chat as well. Which is that one. So that's the one I generally fly. Now that is a bit thinner than I would recommend for beginners. For beginners, change the armor to military and go heavy duty, and maybe change the power distributor to charge enhanced and not weapon focused. Either work just as well. I go weapon focused because of how I like to fire the Gauss cannons. We basically fire them in 2 pairs. So I have 4 cannons. We fire them in 2 pairs, and we space the shots out so that the heat doesn't spike above 20% when we're attacking. If it spikes above 20%, the Thargoid will hit us. If we keep it below that, it can't. So, and anytime you're attacking with the Gauss cannons, you're always covering yourself with a heatsink, so that heat doesn't spike up. So, and then you're learning the dance around the Thargoid that we call cold orbiting. Always trying to make it have to turn around. So you end up kind of spiraling around its vector as it always tries to turn to get in front of you.
Because it wants to use its lightning on you or something.
It will certainly try and do that after the first heart goes down. It will try and use the lightning attack. If you get too close, that's what you'll get. Essentially, what that will do is that it will essentially freeze you in place. It will stop you boosting, and it might reboot a random module. So the most annoying one for it to reboot is your thrusters. Which can leave you like dead in the water for a few seconds, and it just has free shots on you. On something like a Medusa, that can be very dangerous. I've had half my hull disappear in that situation before. Just in one go. Medusas do not forgive mistakes.
No, they won't.
But scouts on the other hand, they are quite easy. They do not have much health. They do not regenerate as interceptors do. You can kill them with normal weapons. They have a very high resistance, but you can kill them with normal weapons. The AX multi-cannons do really well against them because they don't have resistance to those.
Yeah.
So even someone who's not a big combat pilot would be able to deal with the scouts. I would say put 3 large turreted AX multi-cannons on a crate Mark II, and essentially you can go in there and start following the scouts around and watch them die. It is just like that. Just follow them around and they'll die. So it lets everybody have a chance at that one. The scouts are actually quite simple to get rid of.
I actually had a great. That's how I got my elite ranking. I was an Imperial Clipper with AX multi cannons and the plasmas, the Gallian plasmas, and that would just go through tons of scouts in seconds, and that's with the old multi cannon. So goodness knows what it'd do in the new ones.
Yeah, I can't wait to get the gimbaled ones. If we're getting the enhanced gimbaled AX multi-cannons, the scouts are going to absolutely melt. So I saw a comment in chat earlier. I think it was Jensen. Where was it? Scouts only systems for us bad players, please. The kind of is, because in the alert systems, there aren't any AX conflict zones, but there are signal sources where you will find scouts engaged with other NPC ships. So you can go in and eliminate the scouts. It all counts. There are also sources for some interceptors and Orthrus. But the what do they call them again? They're called AX weapons fire signal sources, and they all tend to be scouts.
Yes.
So those are really good for those that don't want to take on interceptors. Go for those and kill the scouts.
Yeah, I must admit, I was around Astropi all the time, killing scouts left, right, and center, and it is good fun. And it's definitely the best way that I had for getting my elite ranking. But yeah. Also, if you are looking for the Orthrus in there, you've got to look for the little salvage icon. So if you see an alien signal source, and you see it's also got little salvage icon next to it, that means there's an Orthrus in there. And sometimes it calls in scouts for help. I haven't seen an Orthrus call in any interceptors yet.
No, I've only had them call scouts in. It's a special case, the Orthrus, because when we very first saw it, when it sneaked out by accident many years ago, it moved very, very fast. Now, however, it moves very, very slow. So keeping up with it is easy. It flies in this spiral pattern when you disturb it, trying to get away. And I think you've got less than 2 minutes before it will leave. You can't stop it leaving. You've got less than 2 minutes to kill it. And in the meantime, it will call in scouts. Now, the tactic seems to be at the moment is having a big laser to try and knock the shield down as fast as you can, and then AX missile racks to kill it, because it gives an anti-guardian pulse, which will destroy your guardian weapons faster than you can kill it with them. So it has some teeth under there, even if it doesn't directly attack you.
Right. Well, thanks for those hints, because I'm quite sure that there are people out there who want to try this kind of stuff. Personally, having tried it myself, it does take practice. You're not going to. I mean, that's the whole point, really. You're going to. It takes a little practice to get the hang of it, but once you've got the hang of it, it is well worth it, and you'll probably end up taking down Hydras with Cobra Mark 3s before you know it. So,
it's been done. I mean, that is super hard.
Oh, I know. I was just looking at the anti-Xeno initiative and posted that, and I was just. It took the commander in question over an hour to do, but it was still amazing to watch.
Yeah, that's a typical Hydra solo fight. That's my best time in the Chieftain was an hour.
Wow.
But the first time I killed one, it was an hour and a half. No, sorry, hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, they're not easy to kill, are they?
No. These are the toughest things you can fight. The toughest NPCs you can fight in the game. And yeah, it's difficult. You can make it look easy after you've practiced it a lot. But it's difficult. People go up against Cyclopses in their Corvette and get wrecked. Get absolutely wrecked in this in their tanked out Corvette. And they come back in going, "What the hell just happened?" And we generally go, "We told you to try it in a medium ship first." Corvettes are not very fast, and that's a weakness.
Yeah, especially against the Basilisk. Jesus Christ!
Oh God, yes. No, I mean, they're the worst nightmare of people doing evacuation and the supply missions, getting hyperdicted or interdicted by a Basilisk, because it's fast. 530 meters per second they go. So not much is going to be able to run away from it in a straight line. Clipper would, Orca would. So those are two good ones. They can basically just run straight away. But otherwise, for anything else, you build it as fast as you can, with extra armor, and with a strong shield as you can, and then hope you can last enough time to jump away. So, but yeah, the Basilisk is the worst nightmare. The other ones, I've not had any trouble getting away from in a Python, which is less than 500 meters per second.
Yeah.
The closer you can get to 500, the better chance you've got. But the Basilisk is the one that really, that's the one you don't want chasing you.
Yeah, that's the hyperdiction nightmare. That one.
Oh yeah. I tried in the Type 9, and my mistake was trying to low wake on it. It was tanky enough that if I'd immediately tried to jump to another system, I would have got out. But I tried to low wake on it to see if I could. No, you can't. Not in a Type 9. It's not fast enough. And it died eventually.
So. Can I just ask a very quick question before we move on? That when you're doing the AX combat a lot of the stuff I've seen seems to be ignoring the target panel to target the heart, and just like, okay, I see that red thing there, aim my guns and shoot.
Basically, yeah. To begin with, I did run the Xenoscanner, and you, if you can get an active scan of the interceptor, then you can sub-target the hearts. That shows you exactly where you need to aim. You basically aim at the glowing bit, pretty much in the middle of the glowing bit. But once you know where you have to aim, then you can do without the scanner.
And you just aim for the middle of the glowy bit.
Yeah, you just aim for the middle of the glowy bit. The one that I really do want the scan for is the Hydra, because it's much harder to see the hearts and your aim point on that one. But I don't like fighting those things anyway. They're just a bullet sponge. In a wing, they're better, but solo, I hate it. But essentially, yeah, you just learn where you need to aim on the heart. You can actually see it when you're moving your gun sight across where the heart is. You'll see the small Gauss cannon micro gimbal onto it. So you'll see what the dot for your small Gauss cannon will jump onto where the heart is, where you've got that tiny micro gimbal that it does, and that's where the center aim point is, and you get used to where that is.
Right. Well, thanks for that. I'm sorry to have to cut this back. We're going to have to ask you back for more anti-Xeno hints at some point. But we're going to have to quickly move on to the community corner, because I've just seen the time. Oh, gold. Right. Yes. Yeek. The community corner, there hasn't been that much this week, because I think everybody has been too busy blasting bugs. But one of the things that we should say is we have to say farewell to Commander Yannick. He was doing the Andromeda expedition.
Andromeda.
That's what I said, wasn't it?
You said Andromeda something or other.
Well, you know, that galaxy that will crash into us in 5 million years. So basically, he's gone to Star 1, which is the closest star to Andromeda Galnet. You see, now you've actually put it in my head that I've got no chance of saying it from now on.
That other galaxy.
That other galaxy, the ones where the Daleks come from. Anyway, was it 5 billion years? I'm sorry.
I thought it was 4.9. Sorry. I'll let you wrap this up, Colin. I'm sorry.
Will you now? Okay, we'll see. So we'd like to thank Commander Yannick for taking all the time to do these exploration expeditions, because there always has been fun, even since the Distance World 2 one. And whatever you do next, mate, I hope you enjoy it. I mean, I must admit, the community events calendar does seem a bit dry at the moment, or a bit empty at the moment, so there's not really that much to work on. Yes, the mostly clueless thing we've had from the wonderful Commander Tokarov, our famous fuel rat. His recommendation is that when you get hyper-addicted, watch your fuel level, because you actually lose the fuel before you jump. So when you get hyper-addicted, you've got to make sure you've got enough fuel for the same jump, unless you're going somewhere else. Because basically, as soon as you jump to hyperspace, you have lost the fuel. So, as a word from the fuel rats, is that hyperdictions can be quite costly on your fuel gauge. So please watch it. And I don't know whether the fuel rats have actually managed to do a rescue while under Thargoid attack yet. Although, no doubt, we'll probably hear about it soon enough. Right, any other business? Well, I've got one, which is our dear Commander Psycho Cow. This Friday on his usual Twitch stream, which is twitch.tv/Psycho Cow. He'd love your company for a Christmas top 10 hits quiz on this Friday from 8 o'clock onwards. Yes, anybody got any other business? Nope. Excellent. Right. Well, in that case, we'll just quickly do the shout-outs. Dex Island is taking a well-earned break until Season 2. But you can still catch up with the Dex Legacy, which is available on Spotify and Audible. There's also bonus interviews there as well, as long as with the writer Emily Inkpen. If you go to and buy some bonus material and merch over at the DexLegacy.com, any proceeds that they get from that will go on to making Season 2. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday at 8:30, so go to twitch.tv Hutton Orbital Truckers or radio.forthemug.com if you just want the audio. For the discerning commander who likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. I think there's actually a bug at the moment with CQC, which is quite high in the issue tracker, so let's fingers crossed that they'll be able to sort that one out soon. Obviously, we're giving shout-outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts. You can still catch up with Psychit and Malfluid's Flight Assist. There's also the Guard Frequency, who do other space games as well, and I am not a Tony. Yes, and Loose Screws, of course, our friendly hillbilly redneck radio over in the States. Now, following this, we have the latest Galnet News Digest, as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude, and we'd just like to thank everybody who's joined Ben in the in-game, which is who, Ben?
So we've had Coldzar, Siberius have been around. Miggles has been about. I think that's been mostly it. Were you here, Sab? I can't remember if you came or not.
Oh, I'm up in the bar.
Okay, you're up. You're in the bar. Okay.
I've been found in the bar.
I'm floating around outside. That explains why I can't see you.
Yeah. Noddy found me in the bar.
Excellent. Well, also special thanks, of course, to Commander Tokuso, JN Trax, and Alan Stroud, who have created music specially for this show. So, I'd just like to say thanks to Ben.
Thank you, Colin.
I'd say thanks to Alec.
Thank you. Goodbye.
And of course, thank you to Brother Sabathius. See how many times I've gone and massacred this name now. Sabathius. What the bloody hell?
There's been so many.
There are people passed out from drinking too much.
Colin, there is a reason I suggested Sab at the beginning of the show.
Oh, come on. You know the reason. People want me to get things wrong so they've got an excuse to drink.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, Wintermute's going for it.
Yes.
Yeah, Wintermute can't type right now. He's like that.
Oh,
So that is this is costing me too much to drink. Yes, right. So that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can email info@laveradio.com, hit us up at facebook.com/laveradio, tweet us at laveradio, or you can even join our Discord server by going to discord.io/laveradio. We also have a TeamSpeak server where commanders come to hang out and chat, and you can find that teamspeak.laveradio.com. Now, do get in touch if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. So thanks again. Yes, thanks to those three. And of course, we have to say special thanks to today's tech specialist, the legend that is Commander Ventura.
Who's still busy playing Warcraft.
He's still busy playing
Thank
Warcraft.
you.
He's forgotten to press the
Thank
button
you.
for the mic again. We'll sort that out in the edit.
Haven't. Thanks.
So until next time, commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, just fly dangerous.
feel like someone having an orange inserted into them. Need a safe word.
Space can be lonely.
I'm going to see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Digest, 13th of December 3308. We read the news, so you don't have to. In this week's news, we look at how dramatically the galaxy has changed in just 2 weeks and consider the future.
On the 29th of December, the first of the 8 rogue signal sources, or Thargoids, slammed into orbit around an ammonia world in Hyades sector FB-N B7-6, and we had some idea at last of what these mysterious moving lights might be. 4 more Thargoids have arrived, 2 on the 1st of December and 2 more on the 8th. It seems likely that the final 3 will all arrive on the 15th of December.
While the precise nature of the Thargoids remains obscured by a malevolent gassy cloud, it seems almost certain that these maelstroms, as they are now known, contained Thargoid motherships or hive ships, which are acting as command bases for the invasion of surrounding systems. Almost instantly upon their arrival, Thargoids working for these maelstroms seized some of the systems near to the maelstrom, attacked others and started scouting out yet more. Future expansion by the aliens will take longer. It seems it takes several weeks for new systems to be confirmed as invasion targets, and then several weeks for the invasion to gradually wipe out human starports and planetary bases, after which, if the Thargoids have not been repelled, the system falls under full Thargoid control.
The Thargoids will, unless we confront them, slowly and methodically take over the human-inhabited systems. We have a mechanism to fight back, and we now know that if we disrupt the work of the Orthrus in Thargoid alert systems, and if we fight Thargoids, bring in essential supplies, and evacuate refugees in Thargoid invasion systems, we can repel the aliens. They need to win every week to advance in a system. We just need to win 1 week to drive them out. The first system to have a Thargoid invasion repelled, HIP 23716, is anticipated to be returned to human control and a period of post-Thargoid recovery on Thursday. And the first system, where a Thargoid alert has been repelled, seems very likely to be HIP 20485. These will be the first 2 systems of the fight back against the Thargoids.
According to Xiaojin Ai, the one-time test subject D2 of Salvation and Azimuth Biochemicals, the Thargoids have come here as a direct consequence of the firing of the Proteus wave back in August, and they have come with a specific objective in mind. What that objective might be is not yet known, but former Aegis Director of Research Professor Albert Tesreau, together with engineers Ram Tar and Professor Palin, are undertaking research and may well need assistance. They're also researching the unclassified relics that are created by feeding Guardian relics to the Thargoid devices found inside many Thargoid structures. These relics may be a pointer to the newfound power of the Thargoids. It is likely that work will also be undertaken to investigate the maelstroms themselves. Are they now fixtures in the bubble? Or, if we can navigate through the caustic clouds and the shutdown fields, will we eventually be able to attack the Thargoid hive ships? Will we be able to drive them away?
At a more tactical level, engineers Liz Ryder and Zachariah Nemo have plans for at least 4 enhanced anti-Xeno weapons, a mixture of turreted and fixed, multi-cannon and missile racks. The first, the enhanced turreted AX multi-cannon, is already available at all rescue ships, and it seems likely that 2 more, the fixed AX multi-cannon and the turreted AX missile rack, will go on sale by the end of the week. These provide a good basis for all commanders to get involved in the fight, although Ramtar's Guardian hybrid technology weapons, which are available to be unlocked at Guardian tech brokers, are considered to be preferable in many circumstances.
Can humanity learn to fight together as one against a common enemy? Concentrating efforts on just 1 or 2 systems per week has shown dividends this week, but how about the superpowers? All have made some limited effort to defend attacked systems, but it's hardly been a major factor in the progress of the war.
With the Empire in particular only willing to assist Imperial systems, it may be telling that the Citizens Chronicle has today published an editorial calling for the Empire to provide better support for independent systems. The Marlinist systems, for example, may well be at risk from Thargoid attack later in the week. There's little sign that Aegis is being reformed, and Azimuth Biotech, while providing an extremely capable Size 2 pre-engineered shard cannon, has been largely discredited. The future of the human-inhabited bubble may, once again, come down to the ability of independent pilots to organise themselves to work together against Thargoid expansion, until we can better understand what the Thargoids are trying to achieve.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News. We read the news, so you don't have to.
While the team on Dex Island take a well-earned break before their Series 2 return, there's plenty of material to fill the void. Point your auto assistant to your favourite podcast app, including Spotify and Audible, and search The Dex Legacy. There you'll find bonus edition interviews with cast members and with the writer Emily Inkpen. There's also plenty of bonus materials and merch at www.thedexlegacy.com. All proceeds go towards the making of Season 2.